Hey guys, it's Steph from Hot and Moving, and as you can see from the title, Riley Gaines gets the last laugh, even though this is really not a laughing matter whatsoever. All right. Finally, we want to talk about, protecting women in society, and we want to wave that that flag for women's rights and everything, and men need to be stood corrected and create a better society for place of inclusion for women to have their lane and everything. That's been beaten into our head in submission. Okay. However, when it came to Lia Thomas, the UPenn swimmer, competing and dominating, now it was like, what about women's rights? Now we got to put that to the wayside. We got to support this other agenda where biological males should be allowed to compete in female athletics. Okay, and that has been tarred and feathered and thrown out. And the school had to submit. Well, really, because they got there was some grant money or something like $175 million to that effect, something like that. Either way, if money has to push, if the money has to be threatened to push this nonsense out, then so be it. Okay, to protect the rights of women to be able to play sports without having to be in locker rooms with men that want to compete in their sports, so be it. Okay, that speaks on another level of just how the financial aspects of things got to push this, because we're so stupid as society that we can't respect everyone's lane. Okay, if transgender athletes want to compete, then let them do that amongst themselves. And have their own protections and rights to play in sports outside of trying to compete with biological females, right? But whatever. But here's what happened. All right. The transgender swimmers' medals, Lia Thomas, her medals are to be stripped of the university. Pennsylvania has agreed. Okay. Let me read that again. Transgender swimmers' medals are to be stripped. The University of Pennsylvania has agreed. The university will also have to issue formal apologies to every biological female competitor who lost to a biological male, marking the end to a landmark legal battle. The U.S. Department of Education Office for Civil Rights found UPenn violated Title IX by allowing a male to compete in female athletic programs and occupy female-only intimate facilities. The case focused on Lia Thomas, who last competed for the Ivy League school in Philadelphia in 2022 as the first transgender winner of an American collegiate title. The move comes as part of Trump's administration's broader attempt to remove transgender athletes from girls and women's sports. Under the agreement, UPenn agreed to restore all individual Division I swimming records and titles to female athletes who lost out to Thomas. The Education Department said the University of Pennsylvania has also agreed to send personalized apology letter to each of those swimmers. Wow. Man, this is excellent. The department commends the UPenn for rectifying its past harms against women and girls and will continue to fight relentlessly to restore Title IX's proper application and enforce it to the fullest extent of the law. Man, wow. Incredible. What a victory. Okay. And honestly, though, it's a victory for women going forward. Okay, but the damage has been done, unfortunately, to the woman the biological woman who had to be subjected to, number one, getting dominated by male athletes in their lane, and also some intimate issues in the locker room, and we don't need to go there, but absolutely wrong, right? Okay, this is not about hating anybody, hating any groups, hating this, hating that. No. I've always said this when talking about these subjects, because everyone's gets so freaking sensitive. Okay, everybody's allowed to be who the hell they want to be. Okay, without judgment. All right, but when other people want to start pretending to be other biologies and getting benefits and rewards, that's not fair. Not fair at all. A young girl who wants to be the best female boxer, female swimmer, whatever it is athletically, she works her whole life, and then at the end of her final level, her boss battle, at the end, the gatekeeper is a man and standing in the way that's wearing a wig. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not right. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are not going to be happy about this, and we know the type of groups that aren't going to be happy about all this. But it's not about them, right? Okay, other groups have made concessions in society for them, and fine, right? Okay, but if we're gonna talk about women and protecting them, then you can't have it both ways. I've always said that. I always thought this was silly. You know what I'm saying? And then it's funny on ESPN. I didn't see them mention this on ESPN at all. No point of discussion. Maybe I missed it. All we got was a tweet from ESPN. University of Pennsylvania has agreed to ban transgender women from its women's sports teams to resolve federal civil rights case, and that's it, right? Right. Where's the countless hours and talking points and discussion on how ESPN, how you guys are wrong, how you fired people who had fired women on your network that commented on protecting other women, right? Though they didn't say anything. They didn't trash LGBTQ or transgender athletes. They didn't do none of that. They just simply said it's not fair for women. If you're gonna be a liberal platform, then you can't. And then once the new trend is to protect LGBTQ transgender athletes, right? But then you want to just but women. What about protecting women though, right? What about women that has an opposing opinion, right? Hypocritical to fire them. Okay, and you're firing women for protecting women. Absolutely bizarre. This whole thing has been an absolute circus, right? Okay, but at the end of the day, this is all about money. Okay, the school did not want to lose any grants. Okay, but it sucks that it had to get to that point. Okay, unfortunately. But I'm glad this resolution has been solved. Now, I don't think this is over with. I think there's going to be a loud wave coming, and this is gonna rally the Lia Thomas folks. This is gonna be the next war. This is gonna be the next social war now. Okay, you know what I'm saying. So buckle up. Okay, this is not over though, but it is in the path in the right direction. Riley Gaines, she had to be the proverbial whipping boy to take a lot of the backlash for sticking up for women. A lot of people have had to stick up for women in this. Took a lot of heat, lost jobs, lost opportunities, have been silenced, has been muzzled. Very bad without having an honest, healthy discussion and hearing women who have a problem with this. A lot of the women who were supporting this didn't play against other men. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people who were supporting this weren't athletes, which was absolutely crazy. You had a lot of people who never played sports chiming in on this. And so backingly and calling women, that like Riley Gaines, like a bigot and stuff like that. Crazy, man. Absolutely insane. Last laugh, right? Who, Simone Biles, right? Calling, Riley a man, basically. This whole thing has been an absolute circus, but everybody, can eat their own words who was against Riley. And supported all this circus stuff going on when it's like, well, just sports is sports. Sports is supposed to be safe for everybody, right? And we veered so far from that, which is absolutely wild, man. So yeah, man, great victory for women going forward to compete in sports. But I do feel bad for the women who had to endure this and lost out on championships and celebrating properly and whatnot, man. Absolutely disgusting, but we're making progress nonetheless, man. This is actual real progress, even if it's by force of not getting grants and whatnot. But hey, it is what it is. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all this, man. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe. I'm out.